What's good? It's your girl Wing. I'm hoping everybody can hear me okay. I got this earpiece in. Anyway, let me get my co-hostesses on. My other co-host is always fashionably late. But we have a guest co-host today too. I'm gonna get him on first, and then I'm gonna get my fam co-host that's always here with us. You there?
I absolutely am here. What up?
What's good? Introduce yourself.
For those that don't know me, it's Mike Phenom, your girlfriend's favorite rapper. Don't believe me, just ask her. Fresh out of Seattle, debatable battle rap radio host. I appreciate you, Wing, for having me a part of your show, man. You know, I rock with you the long way, so I'm definitely grateful and thankful for being a part of the conversation today.
That is so dope. We appreciate you. We really appreciate you, for real. My other co-hostess is, where y'all at?
I'm Tia. This is Brooklyn Ange. Dub D Soul. Brooklyn in the house.
My brother's here.
We on? Yeah, we on.
We on.
This thing, man. You know what this is? Hey, it's your country cousin, the Crown Royal sipper. Hey, man. Shy Brown. We in this thing, man. So much to talk about.
What's good, bro? We got one more. Where, Bully Banks ain't never where he's supposed to be. Never.
Man, fuck him and his mustache.
That's a fact.
Fuck him.
That's a fact.
Fuck him.
Darian.
That's what's up. Okay, yeah, I thought. Is Darian on?
Darian's in the building. Battle rap movement. Breakdown, Wings and Friends. We here. What's going on, y'all? It's been a little bit. What's up with y'all?
Nothing much.
Nothing much.
Thing, man.
So Cannon will be on the second half of the show because he actually is working. So we kind of started a little earlier than we should have, but y'all will hear the mariachi band. So when I click him on to get him on the show, just in case he can't call in, you know how that we get that OT in the third hour. So when we go into the third hour, so we'll work that out. But listen, so I said that we will start off tonight's show with a little different. We need to speak about the community affairs that's going on right now and the representation that we got out here. Oh wait, I think Bully Banks just showed the fuck up.
Fuck him.
Straight
First
like that.
of all,
you tall bastard. I know him. But I'm a hater. Bars.
Bully Banks, you there? Really?
Check the inbox, Wing.
I got it. You
Okay.
just let me know. Anyway, so yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. A little slow. Let's get into this. So at the end of the day, I wake up, I'm hearing about the interview that Kanye did with the Breakfast Club with C to God, and I'm hearing this. I think he did two interviews. But the one thing that seems to resonate with everyone is his statement. Slavery was a choice. Now, it makes me feel away because at the end of the day, the way I'm looking at it, it just made me feel away. Now, we had this discussion earlier, and we talked about, certain people may look at slavery being a choice. Per se, if you either don't fight or you fight and die. But is that a real choice? Now I'm gonna let y'all weigh in on that, and I mean at the end of the day, I'm gonna let y'all weigh in. We'll do the round table as usual, and you can start off Shy. We'll get Mike in, and then Darian, you can follow up.
Man, I think. I see what he was saying, and I think it was misinterpreted. I think he doesn't know how to really get his point across the right way. I can see why it was taken the way it was. And, you know, like you said, people think, okay, it was just slavery, you're in chains, you either jump off the ship or die. You know, people did make choices to follow Harriet Tubman in the Underground Railroad. Nat Turner chose to revolt. You know what I'm saying? People did make choices. Some people made the choice to jump off the ships. Some people made the choice to stay. I see what he was saying. I think what he was trying to convey was more so like, I'm not going to let nobody hold me back in this mentality. Where, you know what I'm saying, like, we have to do something to get out of this to where they're controlling us. You know, and it's I can see why there's people that's saying, yo, fuck Kanye, and there's people saying, okay, he has a valid point. But at the end of the day, it's really up for anybody's interpretation. It's not saying what he said was right, but I can see what he was saying.
And chime in on that.
So I don't so much feel y'all have to excuse me, I'm at work, so that means I'm in the street. But for the most part, I don't know how it resonated with people. I saw a lot of mixed emotions about it.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for it to resonate, you know, a mass would have to agree with what he's saying. And I did see a very lopsided view and opinion of it. I have strong feelings about it because, first of all, you said you don't think that Kanye conveyed the message well. Kanye is brilliant. He's a rapper. He could twist it, flip it, rub it down, serve it up, and, you know, I think so I have a couple of different views and opinions of what he did. And I feel like he did do it to ignite a fire under certain people. I feel like I feel like he was being arrogant. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello?
I ain't got much time real quick before I got to get back, but not to cut you off, Ange. Okay, I watched
you
all the
did, and I'm
interviews.
reclaiming my time with your big ass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I watched all the interviews where T.I., Charlamagne, Joe Buttons all spoke about Kanye West, and he is brilliant. But they say this always been with him is that he takes 3 to 4 hours to convey what he's actually trying to say to you. So the thing about what he said about Trump, it's not so much he fell in love with Trump, it's the ideology of Trump. Like, he's going against what everyone think he is. Like, what he means by that is, like, politics. Like, he didn't have nothing to do with politics. He was a realty star, and that's what he fell in love with. Like, oh, if this guy can do it, so can I.
Okay, what does that have to do with the overall statement in terms of Trump, though?
But that's the whole thing about it, is that he feels like Trump is this big thing, like he's going against the system. But you got to understand, like they're saying, Kanye is so far removed, he doesn't realize. Like, he just started watching CNN maybe 2 months ago. Like, that's how far removed he is from what's going on. But the whole thing about it is that they're saying the general consensus is that he understands, he doesn't agree with Trump, but the whole basis of it is that, like, oh, he's this, he's that, and he's beating the system. He didn't go to politics school. He didn't do none of that. He just became president. A guy who was a celebrity became president. That's the ideology that he fell in love with. That's what I'm saying. And the whole thing about that, people saying slavery was a choice. Slavery was not a choice. You got to understand, we were slaves. We were slaves back when the Romans was going on. Like,
it was two parts
I'm
to that,
just saying,
though.
this is what I'm trying to get out. This is what I'm trying to get out in the limited time that I have. I'm trying to say that people saying that it was a choice. How was a choice? When the warriors of your tribe was taken, raped, and slaughtered.
That part is the part that everybody's getting twisted. He's not saying that
everyone,
the choice to go on these slave ships, that was not a choice. But once
the whole thing is he's saying like slavery, like like, are we really free? Like, he was like, is this not a slavery?
Like,
is this not a form of slavery?
No, what he's saying
we're not. We've never been free. Not in this. This is in our country.
Once they reach these plantations, he said once they reached America, once they reached these plantations, if you chose to either fight or stay in that position, that's what he's saying. He's not saying going on the slave ships for them to be shackled on these boats for so long. That wasn't a choice. They didn't know what was going on. They had no idea.
Now here's
so
here's the point that I got to make with that, because like Ann said, there's so many different feelings about this, and I look at it as geographically, okay? Because that's my thing. We cannot generalize this, and that's what pisses me off about that, because nobody can speak on anything unless you've lived it. Coming from California, most of y'all know, I've been at pretty much everywhere. My couple of homes that I've been in have been, the West, and I lived in the South. Coming from the West, being upper middle class, to this is totally different. Being from the East, being anywhere from any other place where you were raised not to see color lines, to come down here and see how segregated this place really is, and black people allow it, that's a mental situation. So for me to sit here and I always felt a certain way, but you cannot speak on it unless you've been in it. Yeah, we came on slave ships, but let's not leave that part out, because if you think about it, if you've ever seen any documentaries that show you how we were shackled, how these people were shackled, they didn't know the native language. They knew nothing. They didn't know where they were going. They were being sold by their own chief of their goddamn tribe. And you come over here, it's a mental game all the way through. How do you have a choice when you're mentally beat down? You see what I'm saying? None of us have been in a situation like that.
Not even that. They beat into your head that your God is not your fault. Like, they beat into your head that your God is not real. This is who it is. That's how they control you. This is how they control you. They take the men out the household.
I'm not agreeing with what he said.
I think it was systematic of many, many things. A power source. It really was. Guns with, we had tribes with people with, blow guns
on the land. They made weapons from the land. They didn't have guns.
But it was systematic. So everyone that's running around saying slavery was an option, you did have the option to fight, but then what they do?
You were going to be killed, more than likely.
They killed you by
and here's the thing. You don't know where the fuck you are. How are you fighting? What are you doing? You're running to where? Where are you running to? This is the thing. This is the ignorance.
And they talking about, with Nat Turner and this, that, and the third, but you have people who was documented that says, you know how long it took for messages to get from plantation to plantation. You didn't know what was going on. It probably sometimes took months, sometimes it took years, but years in, you don't know what's going on.
No, they were doing trades way more than that, but Jay, I thought you only had limited time. You cut me off, and you got limited time, but you still talking.
I do, but I'm just saying, like, this is what's going on. People saying that, that you had a choice. Yeah, we had a choice, but you're saying that now. You're not in that frame where you're mentally broke down. Like, put yourself inside of a prison.
But are you?
Right.
What are you?
I'm saying. But that's the thing. Put yourself inside of a prison. People tell you when to move. People tell you when to eat. People tell you can't do nothing. So basically,
what choice do you have? What choice do you have in a prison? Not to go.
Put yourself inside of a plantation. You have no choice. And a prison is light. I've never been to prison, but a prison, to look at what our people endured, is light. Like I said, I don't mean to overpower the opinion of everybody, but I had to get that out, because I also just saw a statement that Jay put in the inbox where Kanye also says being a slave, or he says, being a slave was our fault, staying a slave 400 years later is our fault. Now, how do y'all feel about that?
That's yes.
That's a bunch of bogus, man. That's bullshit.
How?
Let's go around the table.
Repeat the question one more time. Being a slave and then staying one?
he said being a slave was our fault. He said staying a slave 400 years was our fault also. 400 years later.
I can't say that I agree with that. I agree with it to a certain extent, like us staying in this mentality. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's been vocal in the past about our community being slaves to brands. You know what I'm saying? And being enslaved in this mindset, like we can't get out the hood, like we have to stay in these certain environments, that we don't have opportunities. There are a lot of situations where we don't have opportunities, where some people are just molded to that mindset, like this is where I'm from, this is where I'm at, I'm from the hood, I'm not going to leave the hood because I'm scared of what's out there. That's our own fault, and our fault for listening to people that convey that message and let it carry on. So I can agree with that aspect.
You say being a slave to brands, but his brand of shoe is how much?
$220.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very limited.
You're right.
That's
a hypocritical ass statement, in my opinion.
I was about to say that. I was like, what is his shoes sponsored by? Adidas, right? That's mainly
Adidas.
Yeah, he endorsed by Adidas.
It's about white people, right? But we're as black people, we're getting controlled by brands. I don't. How can you say that? How can Kanye say that? But your sneaker is Adidas, and you're getting rammed. You're getting controlled by a white person. What is he talking about? What are we doing here with that concept?
I think he used economics as one avenue to discuss. However, I think primarily what he was saying was the black-on-black crime, how we continue to not be able to be strong enough to fight against the forces that be, in terms of, like, you know, the cops killing us off, and how, it's just now that we're really starting to notice a lot of conscious communities. But because we're so busy hating on each other like a bunch of goddamn fools, we can't get past a certain moment. So it's like, okay, I understand what he was saying, and I think that if he had an opportunity to broaden the conversation, we may have heard that in all the syllables that he may have had it, to release under. But I think he was discussing the socioeconomic status. I think that he was also discussing how we are and how we treat each other. I think that he kind of embodied some of the things that we say when we're having conversations amongst each other. I think a lot of us want to vilify what Kanye did, but let's not even front like he didn't start the conversation. He didn't stop a movement. He created a new one. Of people that could be thinkers and free thinkers. He gave an opportunity to all of us to be able to grind our gears and see what really is the systemic problem. We could talk all day and point our finger at the problem because we know what the problems are. What are we doing to solve them? And I think that was like the end all be all of his conversation.
What is he doing to help the cause?
You know what?
That's my thing.
What? I look at it like this.
Your shoes are $1 million. How much of the proceeds from your shoes are going to Boys and Girls Club, where it's damn near 4 arms and 3 legs that used to be a free fucking service to people who could not afford the Boys and Girls Club?
That's the question.
I just think Kanye is trying to do too. He's trying to do too much. He's trying to do too fucking much, and he's just a contradiction on himself. I really
he's a huge contradiction.
To be honest,
I agree with you.
To really put it in perspective, that I see the brother, the things that he's trying to cry out for other people. I just see he's crying that out for himself. I think the boy he's crying out for help. He's crying out for love. He's crying out for attention. I mean, let's be honest.
Kanye
that man ain't been the same
in his life.
That man had not been this. Kanye had not been the same since his mother died. That was his conscience.
That's what I was going. That's exactly why I was
that was his rock. Yeah, that was his rock.
And
He don't have that no more. So when he lost his mom, I think he definitely lost himself when he lost his mother. So that guidance and that consciousness that he used to have when he was coming up in the game early is definitely lost.
It's gone. His
it's
mother died. He
isolated himself from the world for so long now. He don't know what the fuck going on. He really don't know what's going on. He probably don't even know what's going on.
I always say this about hip hop. I always say this about hip hop artists that take it to the next level and become millionaires and billionaires and do other investments and become a lot more than just a rapper, right? So we're talking about people who become removed from the society that we understand to be, poorer or impoverished. And they get so removed from that. Listen, even Jay-Z's content, he went from big pimping to really floating on a yacht to the Boscott shores. Let's really talk about the change in direction of the things that they discuss. And they talk about things that we can never have or obtain. Well, not that we cannot never have or obtain, but that those are yet for us in our future. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what that part right there where you're saying, I think when you lose yourself, when you become part of the elite, when you are joined, hand in hand with the men that make it in the Forbes magazine, the top 20 men of Forbes, and as a black man or a black woman in that category, the stress and the pressure is tremendous behind that. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't agree with the idea that they do not do enough for the communities that they come from. I do not agree. There's a lot of underhanded things, but they, again, we have all been conditioned to move a certain way. It's all about, being brainwashed. It's all about breaking the cycle.
And I think Shai is right about that. I think that Shai is right about that. What you just said really just substantiates the statement that Shai just said. His guidance, him and Mike, because his guidance from a black woman is gone.
Yeah.
The only other reference he has.
He's lost touch with our community due to his mom's passing. So now what does he have in front of him? The only image that he has in front of him of women are non-African American women. So he's seeing this rich lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? He's forgetting, okay, I came from South Side of Chicago. I came from where it's one of the one of the most dangerous cities in the United States of America, where you could barely sit at a bus stop without hearing gunshots. Now my mom's gone. I don't have a reason to even have any communication or any what's the word I'm looking for? Any contact really with my hometown. Nobody's there to tell me, don't forget where you came from.
But do you really need that as a grown-ass man?
Our grandmothers have, huh?
No, I think what happens is you become that major and you can't trust people no more. Who do you trust? Where do you go? Who's the conversation going to be geared for, by, and about? Where do you go? How many times
I agree with that.
He should have stayed with that Delta that was throwing up the dynasty.
I'm just saying, how many times do we hear about, these celebrities being taken out by their own people? How many times do we hear about these celebrities being robbed by their own people? So, and they always say that. They always say that. And again, it goes back to what I was saying. We can't get out of the mind frame of destroying each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do we break that cycle? What is needed to be put in place? How do we reconstruct the way that we all think, the way that we all feel, the crabs in the barrel mentality? How do we really love our brothers and sisters?
I don't think that is ever gonna happen.
That's the thing.
I think that's what Kanye's trying to do. I think he's trying to spark that idea. He's really trying to spark that idea to where we can get to the point we can have a disagreement, we can have different views on stuff, but at the end of the day, I can respect your opinion. It will be nice. That would be so wonderful in the world right now, even in battle rap. But nobody knows how to do that.
Exactly. Here's the problem with that. Okay, after the 80s, and that's no diss to anybody listening that's from the 90s, because I'm going to get to y'all. And y'all should know where I'm going with this. After the 80s, maybe half of the 90s, parents got younger, morals and values became less prominent in the home, divorce rates, single parents
disappeared.
You feel me?
I agree.
Mentors,
the value of family went down
for the black community. See, that's one thing. Again, within slavery, that is one thing that we were taught. It took a village to raise a child. You feel me? So, and I'm going to tell you, with my people being from Mississippi, most of our people are from the South. But like I said, with my people, my mother stayed made sure that she kept us very close rooted to where they come from. Not us, but from where they came from. Their motto was, you can never know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. You feel me? You don't know if you don't know who you are, how the hell can you go and each one teach one? You can't. You have no identity. So these kids that are half 90s on into the 2000s make their own identity, and they have well, they do have references, but we're such in a microwave society. We want it now, and social media puts so many thoughts of what you're supposed to be in today's world in their heads. They don't give a fuck where they came from. So I go back to that. It would be hard as hell because our future leaders, these younger kids, is who we have to start with. We're older now. And they don't give a fuck about what Martin Luther King and Harriet Tubman and Rosa Parks, they don't give a damn about Marcus Garvey. They don't care. I would like to know how many book reports our kids are doing on black historians.
It's rare.
I'll wait.
It's rare.
Right.
It's really rare.
I think, first of all, we're talking about an educational system that has been very lopsided when it concerns black history. And the only way that you can really ascertain any of that information is by seeking it out on your own. But
this is the point that I'm making, and how many young adults do you see on television speaking about how horrible the educational system is for our children? Not a whole lot.
There's a small momentum. However, it just, all it takes is one stone to ripple the river. Like, so if we're talking about, like, what we have to do is seek these people out and support what they're doing. As opposed to and there's small groups of people here, small groups of people there. Why we're not unified in that situation, I will never understand, because we all have the same gripes, hates, and wants, right? But again, we have to be able to seek these people out and be able to support them. This younger generation, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. We have to get them interested in what their bloodlines are, the true nature of who they are as a proud, beautiful people. Do you know who can do that in an instant? Do you know who can do that in an instant? A lot of Jay-Z, the Kanyes, the Beyoncés, the Rihannas, all of these celebrities can do that. But listen, we have people that have done that. We're talking. Listen, Mos Def is like a major, huge educator. Like we're talking, people back in the day. We're talking about Run DMC. We're talking about those people from back in the day, even back then. But you didn't have. What saying? Look who you just said. Mos Def is more prominent to who?
To our generation.
On this phone right now.
Now, but I'm saying even back then. I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about even back then. The mentality is still the same, is what I'm saying. It stretches. It reached out. One of the biggest problems I always had with today's music was, a lot of these rappers, when they came out the gate, they was talking about booties popping and bottles, $2,500 bottles and stuff. This wasn't even the life that they had known anything about. They were just emulating what they saw, like Jay-Z and Biggie and all of them doing. So they just kind of came out the gate talking about shit that really made no sense, that had no content or substance in their lives personally. So it kind of goes like, all of this is a myriad of problems. All of this comes together all at one time. Like, and again, you're right. It does start with the younger generation. How do we start that conversation? How do we even bring those
start doing songs for goddamn Taste Food Network and start doing some, you know what I mean? I'm just giving an example. These catchy ass singles with booty popping twerking songs. If they did a damn, song, I mean, you know what I mean? Even with the twerking, you could do, the region of where twerking came from or something educational for these people, for these kids, because not even so much that. The fact of the matter is that these kids, again, that's kind of what disturbed me today, because what I was seeing, or yesterday, because what I was seeing on the timeline, you had people who were very serious about the statement, but then you had a lot of fuckery too, and didn't realize how sad the shit really is. These motherfuckers sit around with not a thought in their head and just a lost cause, and wouldn't stand up to vote for their right to vote.
Sitting at home. Yeah, those are the same people that are sitting at home collecting felonies as opposed to paychecks. And, look, we know that those people exist. What do we do to break that?
But that's a lot of people.
Yeah, I was a part of that.
That's a lot of people. We still out here worried about looking like white girls with hair down to our goddamn ankles because Nicki Minaj is wearing 30-inch weave right now.
Yeah, well,
everybody on the Chinese tip. I mean, you feel me? That's where I'm coming from. It's like, as Mike said, we're slaves to brands and what social media says we are today. They're lost. They're not trying to hear that. So when I see things like that, to put it in perspective, they even they like they were saying, they were also saying, he's trolling. He's brilliant in how he's doing it. He is starting the conversation. But as he's starting the conversation, how many young people are really listening? You know what I mean?
No, I would like for the issue to be followed up with. I would like for him to start a foundation.
Right.
Like you were saying
earlier. That I
like,
read, the person from that statement that I read, the person said, "I agree." What do you mean?
You know what?
I
thought this was all because when you think about Kanye and his music and some of the shit that he says, it's kind of like what if this was all a ploy to get white America on his side so he could run for president and then they vote him in and then he switches to Kanye and Malcolm X?
Agenda. Okay.
Then
he would go down in history for me.
That's the case. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. But I hope that is like the end game. I really do. But I don't see it happening.
Yeah, but shout out to T.I. though with that song they did together. I'm glad somebody
that song was fire.
To his ass.
The song is fire.
Yes,
Kanye, the Gay
fire.
vs. the People song. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very fire.
If you ain't heard it, you definitely need to hear it.
Well, I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on that. I just really wanted us to, kind of dive into that because it was just, that irked my life.
Yeah, you have to scratch the surface and see what everybody else is thinking. Definitely scratch the surface and let's see what we can dig up. Because, at this particular juncture, if our leading male role models are talking like this and it sounds like nonsense, there's a problem.
Absolutely. And again, as Mike said, I'm hoping that it's not necessarily a problem and actually a solution behind it. But to be honest, to have put it out there in the view of other white people, for them to have the idea about it, you've defeated him before he could even start. Because now they're like, you know what I mean? Now they're sitting back looking like, okay, yeah, if this is what this nigga is trying to do, yeah, we going to keep an eye on. Now you really, whereas they probably turned a blind eye and said, oh, you know what, oh, well, that nigga he lost. You know what I mean? Now we're looking at it in a totally different light, and they're looking at it now like, okay, yep, if this is what's going on, let's keep an eye on him and see. We're going to stop him dead in his tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So
they like the controversy that this has started. Yeah, they like the controversy that this has started. They like the idea that we're running around bumping our heads into each other. They like the idea that we're having these social media arguments on Twitter, on Facebook, on everything. You know, they like this. They like seeing us in confusion and turmoil.
As he even said in the song with T.I., he said, what's crazy is that there are a lot of people that think the same way as me but won't say it. And you're seeing that happen with this conversation about the slavery as a choice conversation. You're seeing a lot of people that actually agree.
Oh, yeah, some people, that
a lot of people
actually agree. Yeah, it is some people
that
definitely agree.
And he said that in the song. He said it. And now you're starting to see that he wasn't lying.
Well,
so
I'm
maybe
interested.
What he's doing right now is actually helping.
Is rallying up the people, getting and if so, then I'm glad, and I'm hoping that a whole lot of other Afro-American icons and stars, celebrities get behind him. Athletes, I'm really hoping that this, I mean, we don't need to be militant.
That comes with tremendous responsibility, and a lot of people don't want that responsibility.
But here's the thing. You claim to be self-made with all your millions. Do something.
Yeah, let's implore to all of these artists and people who have a voice in mainstream, and let's appeal to all of them and have them, start the well-oiled machine that I know we can be.
Because it only starts with small steps. It ain't got to be a big overhaul. Get these kids, and I don't know. Like, our kids are so far gone now. These generations are so far gone now. I mean, you have little sprinkles of success of children, or I won't call them kids, young adults coming up that they just don't know how to. You know what I mean? They don't know how to.
They're socially inept because social media is not, is not the healthy example of how you.
Not even that. The upbringing. Not even that. You hear my little one all the time. She comes home from school exhausted. I mean, that's a little old woman. She comes home from school exhausted because the kids' behavior. Those are her conversations. Oh, I couldn't deal with these kids at school today. They are so. You know what I mean? Kids like that actually want to try to, hey, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. They become so defeated because you have drones of kids with that don't want to learn, that mimic what they see at home, and the behavior and lack of wanting to aspire to be anything. This is what they're met with in school at a young age. You know what I mean? It's a big deal. It's like so many different surfaces we have to actually scratch to try to even begin to start to try to build on things. I don't really like, when I think about it, it's exhausting. I mean, you don't want to give up on your people.
Exactly, and that's what I mean about the responsibility. That's what I mean. There's a lot of people out here who can absolutely, create a mountain out of a molehill, but because it is tiresome and you meet with so much resistance, and it's so sad. Like, we have become lazy. We have become
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad.
We'll have to pick up. when they say that there's nobody to blame but us, that's exactly what it means. There's nobody to blame but us.
We definitely got to pick up on this conversation another time. It's interesting. We don't always have to talk battle rap. We definitely can talk, community outreach and different things that we can do. You know what I mean? I mean, this is a conversation that we don't need to wait for Kanye or somebody to go radical and start really talking about this. I know we have been trying to get a few people on. I know Shy is working on some things. So this actually comes at a very good time because hopefully maybe in the next month or so we can probably get those people that we've been trying to get on, and we can continue to cut these conversations.
It's definitely a needed ingredient, especially when we're enmeshing. Hip hop is a part of our culture, and doing it the right way is probably the only way to do it.
I believe that.